Good afternoon. My name is Super Apostle Baksay. I'm Super Apostle of Super Lord Jesus Christ, in the Church of Jesus Christ, the Let of these things. We discovered this glorious place. It's in Covent Garden and the Apple Store. We're in the first floor, and we realized that we may send the broadcast video to anyone that is interested in a business. I, Super Apostle Baksay, am working on its business of our Supreme Heavenly Father, our Supreme Eternal Father in heaven, and then Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh is business according to our project, according to plan that we're working on. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints supposed to be translated to heaven's glory and sent to heaven, or out to be translated to heaven's glory and sent to heaven. Do, or soon as early as possible. We recognize um, in that time, since we are baptized in the Church of Jesus Christ, since for me it is already 13 years over, the members of the Church of Jesus Christ already have fullness of the authority of Supreme Lord Jesus Christ, fullness now, fullness of restoration, restoration is fullness. But there is something in church policy, something like tradition of sin, such of karma of hatred, or karma of such of war, worship, and this cause the presence of First Presidency are not as lovely as they're supposed to be according to the facts or the reality. And we have fullness of the authority of the Supreme Lord Jesus Christ restored, and they officially reported dead. Officially were dead and decomposed, eventually buried, and we realized the posture is sort of terrifying. We have fullness of the authority where the persons are dying, and they are sort of instructing all the members also to die, and all the public is actually exposed to the sort of free agency of general virginal officers of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we're looking forward that we might have some more of the presence of Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh. We might do some of goodness. I suppose actually command to all general authorities officers of Jesus Christ of the present, future, and past general authorities officers of Jesus Christ of to obey Lord Jesus Christ wisely, to not generalize too much what Jesus Christ actually said. We remember the most important saying of Jesus Christ: love your God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. That may be explain what actually love is. So, for instance, some believe to have only one partner, the guy on chastity. Some believe to abstain from employment of powers with animals or with things or with plants. Or with, some think to abstain from procreation of women. There is between races, like for example, European will not employ procreation powers with Africans, Chinese, or Indians. Others are just doesn't bother, just employ procreation powers with whomsoever, whatsoever. So we think that we can learn the order of Lord Jesus Christ to ask Lord Jesus Christ if we shall be vegan, if we shall eat milk of the cows or of the goats, if we shall orally partake of blood and flesh of animals, if it's according to word of wisdom, law of chastity, if it is in harmony with these laws. So we can research, we can find out what of the policy we might apply or what policy in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that might change. The mighty change will um, evoke in us some more of wisdom, some more of the Holy Ghost. So all those they think they are love just the only law that we need to use. We also love kindness. So if anybody is exceedingly into going for Christian powers, but there's actively hatred of first presidency against some groups, and now they have no one to employ professional with. If they need a man, they have balance. That's what we don't want. Also, we will like the that we really kind to one another. Really ask the Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh for me to some sort of harmonically living with one another. And we will always live there. Each person will have at least one partner, and maybe, if possible, only one partner. For instance, we know in these sorts of wars or military terror operations, it might not be possible to have one partner. I mean, it might be the idea. remember Brigham Young University is named after David and Solomon and 200 wives, 400 wives, 1,000 wives. And I think it is really necessary to think so the sort of record system in the church or financing record system of church need to include also some sort of advocacy to members. If there was too many disciplinaries of or if they want to be members of the church's consular states, they need to have some sort of volume. They also can have more partners, or that the local wedding need to be sort of movable, and the local is whatsoever they need. It is local because of sort of military and economic harassment by the first president's contact was happening really. Some people was harassed maybe that they was thinking that they can enter any country, and they was sort of detained, and part of the detention was maybe enjailment and harassment. Others could be maybe just too often searched. The Church of Jesus Christ License authorities that interpersonal and global was misusing the authority of Lord Jesus Christ. That they was persecuted by too many searches and police searches. Others couldn't find home. So they was having no money except for food, for dress, for not for home, and the others didn't have home nor money to purchase food and dress. The others was thinking they can get any charity food, and there was sort of poison food or food that was expired, or as they was trying to get charity food, they couldn't get any charity food, and maybe there was something in harmony with the word of wisdom. They was thinking of the drink. Lemonade, and there was lemonade, but also tea, and it was not so greatly distinctly sort of someone on a package or on a bottle. So that's what I think we might consider all these judgments and disciplinaries of churches Catholic things as sort of stripe of judges in Israel and churches Catholics to learn to judge, and they maybe do many mistakes. So it needs to be a presence of Supreme Elohim, Supreme Yahweh, the general official officers of churches Catholics, so will not commit any great trespass against free agencies. All those who would like to be members of churches Catholics, we need to be privileged to be members of churches Catholics. We know that we have many heroes. There is sort of American Nazis. Maybe also British Nazis. They actually. Driven into such an obsession of killing and sorts of wars that are on the part certainly illegal. We know that Jesus Christ ever commanded we shall not kill, but we shall also not be we shall not be angry. And now we have here this sort of constant war by first presidents called apostles for the last 100, approximately 50 years, 180 years. The first presidents is always sending some sort of battles, and that maybe they're in battles that they're shooting or killing each other, they're getting angry, and they're not only getting angry, but they're really beating each other, wrestling and killing each other. So that's such can be members, and then if somebody's got a 3,000 wives or 3,000 concubines, can be members. So we need to set it there. The members can be anyone who wants to be a member, and president of the Church of Jesus License can also be anyone who wants to be president. Then maybe there is that this corruption in Salt Lake City might not permit to this military setting that we have. The first president has got so great military and such an intelligent military. Only someone as me can pass through, all these military settings, military system. Only Supreme Apostle that is supported by Supreme Lord Jesus Christ may become president of first presidency, are elected above the form of first presidency, say from the hands of first presidency of Jesus Christ. So to protect life, to protect safety of neighbors, we need to guarantee some sort of freedom of expression, some sort of freedom of looking for friends, looking for a partner for all eternity. So what can we do there? We might sort of be saved from not only medical harassment, not only sort of making people ill, that they coughing or who knows whether any sort of medical condition there. It's the president of Church of Christ License may be able to bring. So we believe that we are protected through the power of God, the power of Lord Jesus Christ, through the grace of Jesus Christ, and that we will be healthy and translated to heaven, so we are sent to heaven. We believe that the transfiguration of Lord Jesus Christ is one of those important milestones in the mind of each man to study, to ponder about, to reason about why Jesus Christ said in Caesarea Philippi that the apostles and disciples of Jesus Christ shall lose themselves to find eternal life, and why he then promised Peter, James, and John those keys that he really gave to them verbally. Whatsoever Peter shall seal on earth will be sealed in heaven, and whatsoever Peter shall lose on earth shall lose in heaven. Um, do we have such keys on earth now? Or is it only Jewish Levites, or is it only Jewish Christianity, or is it the Greek Catholic, or the Roman Catholic, or is it Russian Orthodox Church, or is it a military church like Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of Chaplains? That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints entered in Salt Lake City, Tennessee, controlled the Russia. Was Russians afraid of Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints 1800? They was organizing communism themselves, and they already had so the fullness of Christianity. The Russians Orthodox Church, they have churches, they have beautiful icons, and they believe in Jesus Christ. And now they chose to be communists and socialists. What they're afraid of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, therefore encouraged to organize First and Second World War and bombarded the Moscow and to harass Russia with exceedingly great killings, many killings. And what about the German Catholic Church and German uh, Evangelical Church? Was they also afraid of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? They was agreeing with such a plan with Adolf Hitler. Was to fight every direction to receive bombarding all their German Catholic as well as Italian Catholic Church and Vatican and the Evangelical Church of Germany was bombarded by American Mormons and by British Mormons. Back and there was even Vatican bombarded. So Moscow bombarded, Vatican was bombarded, Italy was bombarded. Who else was bombarded? Germany was London bombarded. Was the Anglican Church of England bombarded? Yes, there was also more than 3 bombs on every great city, throwing bombs was not as great as atomic explosion in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but in Japan, but it was also extremely great bombing here. There was maybe 10% of all buildings in London somehow damaged, or was it not as many? On 3%. So on 3% of also not 1%, maybe 0.1%, 1% of buildings was maybe damaged. It was very great city. London is very great. 7 million people live here. 7 million to 7,000. 7,000. Well, it'd be like 7 million. Yeah, it's 7 million. Maybe 700,000. 700,000. So we actually cannot find out at this time how many buildings was damaged here in Church of England, but it seems that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints now have 50 million of members, and they're really controlling all the militaries on this planet Earth. They was investing very much into the Soviet and Russian military, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They was just trying mildly to persuade family cops of water from the winds so that they believe that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is really the church that is worthy, church that is really overtaking government, and from the future they're already governing. So if now it's 15 million church, would it not be 100 or 300 million within 15 years? Some say 150 million, 150 million it's quite unanimous. It's soon to be members of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So is it worth it for us to do any changes in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Is it worth it to us to desire to influence the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and show people just hide away from the church? It's such a great Lord, let us hide not, let us, brothers and sisters, let us appreciate, cherish the membership, let us help those who are not at this time members to know that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the only kingdom of heaven and earth, and that the baptism in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the gate unto our translation to heaven's glory and ascension to heaven. We need the help of Supreme Elohim, Supreme Yahweh. So we dedicate this video to them, to Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh in the highest heaven. We would like to ascend to their presence. Let us therefore dedicate this video to all saints that can help us to understand, to localize Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh, and to finally be translated to ascend. Jesus Christ was showing us not glory for Jesus Christ was generous, was merciful, compassionate, was generous and forgiving. Because James John truly committed many trespasses, but Jesus forgave them and showed his eternal glory to them. Um, I think it was possibly Mount Hermon where Jesus Christ was showing their eternal glory when James John. And behold, as he was about to ascend to heaven, maybe a few meters above the ground, shining above the brightness of the sun, there Moses and Elias descended from heaven and conversed with Jesus Christ about the great and glorious ascension of Jesus Christ's departure was about that time accomplished 1,983 years ago, approximately, as Jesus Christ ascended to heaven. Is it not an example for us? Shall we not, age 33, sleep not longer anymore on earth? I believe that Jesus Christ was not longer than 22 hours. Some saying that it was between 22 and 34 hours, 22 and 33 hours. Jesus Christ was having long enough on earth that he had on earth, and he ascended to heaven, and his feet was no more treading on earth, except maybe much later, thousands of years later. But in between, only in heaven or in those places where Jesus Christ was choosing to. Francis is recorded about the word of wisdom if there is the law that we shall keep. So he's also mentioning law of chastity, also law of kindness in this worshiping times, worshippers. And now we come to the word of wisdom about the law of equality. There are those who pay 10% and they have only 15% of their income. So that judges in Israel need to warn about it. If there is, for instance, any bishop, let's say blonde hair, blonde hair, blue eyes, or blonde hair and light green or green eyes, dentist. So let's say that any bishop is in a war and all the other bishops and stake presidents are ready to help the bishop, and also general authorities are ready to help the bishop. And how bishops need to judge person. Person was very much harassed, was oppressed from childhood, was born in a country where their church temples was not, mission was not situated, maybe even more branches, states was not situated. So, but it was a European country. They had Christian tradition, but the Christianity was in sorts of harassment by the first person such as Celes. Now, the soul was not getting any further than successful mission that were successful. We say that successful was that they received certificate of service honor. So they received also by President Hinckley. Australia, I received a certificate by President Gordon Hinckley that I served as honor that I'm ready to serve mission. And then I received also by Mission President Manwari certificate that I was really honorably serving for the Apostle Mission. I had name tag. Also, Bishop of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was an MTC President, President Jansen, and I received certificate. But then I couldn't find wife, so I found about, let's say, 1,000 of concubines, and we had many children together. And our bishop is thinking that this member wants to be the presidency, but couldn't find one wife, so had 1,000 wives, and maybe was also involved in any war conflicts, as he could not get any money, so he went to sorts of first line and was in need of also killing extremely many, maybe by helicopter or by airplane. And was actually killing very many because it was such a time. And he was actually in the military, was American military, so he was receiving some heroic medals and was alive in all those battles because those 1,000 wives was helping him, and they had many children. And there was no estimating, and so because Saul wants to be member of church, discuss those things. And so some years later, Saul maybe was not needed to baptize because the children was so good and so lovely that they was just forgiving. And there was the meeting here, Super Apostle Baksay and me to become president of First Presidency. This scenario was not happening, hopefully, so I personally don't want to kill as many people as such a hero with medals in first row in the American military with the airplane might be maybe able to kill like so many also soldiers, also civilians. So let us now believe that you will now just commit me having one wife and some children and to be elected above the board of this presidency. So the general board of just guys listening to sorts of my anhangers, and I'll be the candidate first in history of Church of Celes to explain the words of Christ and the will of Christ, the will of supervillains from Yahweh to the Church of Jesus Christ Celes, to General Board as the ultimate this time. And we might change the name of the church from the Church of Jesus Christ Celes to the Church of Jesus Christ Media Ascension or Church of Jesus Christ Celestial Ascension, and instead of General Board, it might be Supreme Board. So members of the Church of Christ Celestial approximately is 32 ascend to heaven, and those who only also ascend. And if any younger also ascend, can also ascend to heaven. Brothers and sisters, I'm sure that it is really the best idea for us to keep the word of wisdom. All that what we've learned until now, abstain from tea, coffee, alcohol, tobacco, and maybe also to abstain from any other dangerous substances or sexual pornography or narcotic substances, as well as vegans. Can be vegans, can abstain from milk, from cheese, from animal fats. We can. I mean, if there is honeymoon and there is some exchange of living between man and woman, and also there is husband and wife, I believe that's actually not as necessary to think that they are not vegan. The men vegans also, anyways, also men, also women, also they have their sort of intimacy exchange of bodily fluids. But if they're not eating animal fats, if they're not eating beef, pork, or chicken, so it might be easier for you. And I'm thinking about all those eating also beef, also chicken, also fishes, and they also have honeymoon or honey hour, every 24 hours, around honey hour or two. So and then they actually ask to eat also fishes and cheese and milk. So I know that if we will judge wisely, we will understand how should we judge, and that's according to rule or by the rule where it's much given, much is required. So if anybody has 1,000 pounds per week, a different judge is 60 pounds per week. A different judge is somebody who's got 60 pounds per week, plus housing benefit and constant benefit, and maybe freedom passes to use local transport, but elsewhere on the local buses in the country. So that's the thinking there. That's sort of relatively very small amounts. Those with 1,000 per week, that's already 52,000 per year. That's already quite better. Now, for those with 20,000, 100,000 per week, I'm not sure if it's permitted at all, but maybe by tax office, deduce well, maybe 70,000 after tax. Or well, we actually not actually experts for taxes, how much actually permitted people to have. Maybe some heroes from military might be or maybe some priests there that send letter to myself second Svea UK. So we're researching how can we permit such free amounts. Now, why would we have lots of money if we want to ascend to heaven? Is it needed? Maybe we might do business. Yeah, that's the way how to earn money, how to feel comfortable, how to feel sort of elected to those most intelligent people where we might feel most intelligent. So I'm actually very grateful for all the help the Church of Jesus Christ Celestians and other Christian denominations provide, and the governments in the countries are lovely. The church is really helping them to repent from any sorts of tyrannies, some harassments from military terror, if it is local by whatsoever constellation, or if it is abroad, somewhere in far countries where airplanes are flying and bombarding or invading. We now might have some more of celestial love. So we send these letters, they they're evoking more, saying churches sense of worthiness of today's, or pardon, to this time generation. As Peter ever stated, that we are peculiar people, we are a chosen generation, royal priesthood, whole nation, and that we are supposed to think that we are worthy to ascend to heaven. Yeah, it is not only sometimes much later or long ago, but it's exactly now we should appreciate one another, we should discover who is your supreme apostle and Mr. Apostle Baksay. And I will not give you any terrible commandment. I mean, I sometimes think of myself fortunate and blessed. This is much of a second thing for me. But she's got a military almost everywhere with Americans, and with Americans not permit her. She's always staying there to ground fortunate. We will not use them for anything terrifying like to have some more tanks in China or some more atomic rockets in India. The nuclear, these nuclear rockets, these nuclear heads in India, or I will not go to Solar Republic to build up their navy. So they don't have any shore right, or their airports. So I'll just take $4 trillion and I'll just make a wonderful party with Thomas Desmos and we don't say the rules. There was some Mexicans there was members of Francisca Celes and they wanted to candidate for United States America president, and they was even almost winning. They was having almost 40%, and they just want to their name. We wanted to make 4 billion or 4 trillion party with the Mitt Romney is named with Anne Romney, with his wife. And we hope the Majesty of Second will release 4 trillion pound sterling that we may have one party where you leave our orders only for a while, and Mitt Romney is really ready. Mitt Romney wants to put into American economy at least 1 more trillion. If I approve with 4 trillion, so I'll be a good partner, a good friend for party as one. So guys, just think of me as a really good partner, uh, as a really worthy leader, as of about the real supreme apostle of supreme of Jesus Christ. I plan that we might have equality of the household of heaven and Jesus Christ the second time already among us. So I was also seeing for us that we might have some more of the glory day. Our present leaders that are related to posterity and future, and also our forefathers, also Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, and other persons. I think that most important is Supreme Elohim, Supreme Yahweh, they are in heaven, and then uh, there is the Enoch and Moses and Eliah. They ascend to heaven quite early before they actually died, and there are many others of us. So, and we really appreciate the help of all the saints. We would like them to ascend, sit after us. We would like to be first now ascending and sit after us. Of course, at the same time now that we might ascend in great hosts. So let us therefore be sorts of excitement. With excitement, let us have excitement among prayer, not let us love God, Supreme Lord and Supreme Yahweh with all our heart, mind, and strength, and our neighbors as ourselves. Selected hymn is um, from Bible, New Testament, Gospel of St. John the Evangelist, chapter 13, verses. Remember verses 33 to 35. We need presence of Supreme Lord and Supreme Yahweh because we have here it's a mixture of churches applying their beliefs. Myself, so I to get normalized. Unfortunately, it's not so much for those who are really victorious in the 21st century. We're 10 years of 10 years of 21st century, and we have here. We live in Great Britain. Non-governmental organization is really governing quite powerfully. $4 trillion, 4 trillion pounds sterling to Mr. Baksay is just a normal amount, and we will not use it anyhow imperfectly. You don't need to do any insurances or insurance. I just will have a phone with such amount and ready. Brothers and sisters, now from singing, we actually are excited to sing. We have here also such a glorious remark. Maybe not the funniest, maybe just beautiful musical that we have. Also in London, in Prince of Wales Theatre, about the Book of Mormon, or about the Book of Evil, or Evil on. So, brothers and sisters, now the singing, right? Yeah, generally speaking, singing of the hymns in Christianity, it's adopted since the time of Adam. Adam already was learning to sing hymns. Hymns very beautiful. Not all the hymns are as quality hymns. We have hundreds of hymns in English language. Slovaks, yeah, I was born in Czechoslovak Socialist Republic, and we had from the eastern Ukraine, Kiev, Russia, and Belarus, and Russia, separating us from these sorts of Asian nations. And then we had Italians and Greeks and South Slavia, Slovens and Serbs, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo and Czernogorans, as well as Macedonians, separating us together with Hungars from Africa. And then that was approximately north. We also have Poland, and we have Poland and Scandinavia and England. It's such popular to come to, and I think it is famous because as you made it, they went uh, from Greek Orthodox, uh, maybe Salonika, from Salonika, maybe Solon. So Solon was somewhere else, and Salonika, Saloniki. So that's what I know. And learning that they went and they was declaring sorts of gospel, proclaiming, declaring the gospel of Jesus Christ, and they created a written language. And it was in harmony with the lords of Slovaks. It was Moravian lords that was subjecting Slovak lords, and they together agreed that Slovaks were ready to learn about Jesus Christ, the Lord, and about His Son's incarnation and ascension to heaven. They studied in such a young age, only 33 summers, um, when Jesus Christ sent to heaven, and Slovaks already learned their own language, and they had already written by such a glorious apostles of the Lord. I think that's the first president to celebrate that. That was already sort of university what was created there. It was sort of first university in Europe. And they went then also to Vatican to plead for those nations of Slavia, and they really get to Vatican and spoke to Pope, and also for all the Germanic nations and Scandinavian English nations, they altogether might have gospel translated to their own language. If they're not beautiful, and it was only 863 since birth of Lord Jesus Christ. So I believe therefore it is normal the Slovaks will feel they have right to preside over the Church of Jesus Christ, and what I say, it's lawful for them to baptize and to just have it as a kind gift of the Heavenly Fathers, the ultimate celestial Fathers, influence in them, and to remember that they don't want to die, they don't want to decompose, that they don't want there's official message about them in the church that they was dead and buried and funeral and they was decomposed. That's what they shall not want. But what shall we want is really to sing redeeming love, to sing praise to Jesus Christ, to praise the name of Jesus Christ, and to make it possible to members to be protected, to have eternal protection, to have outward protection, and if anybody has got aspiration to preside in general headquarters, to get them to their training on time, early, before they turn 33, that they might have at least full-time proselytizing mission. This is approximately what we studied before. He used to think about I said Apostle Baksay and really working on ascension to heaven. I mean, increase of glory and beauty is absolutely normal and still now occur. Celestial lady inclusive. So blessedly, let us speak so that we may ascend any moment that we will not be somewhere 34 years old. So until people are 33, they may be just almost ascending. Maybe some of them may also ascend, however, or almost ascend. But if they are already 33 of age since birth, from the womb of a mother or one mother, 33, we still already therefore think they are at any moment to ascend. It shall not have the explanation of meaning that these people are already unversed, that we shall not speak to them, or that we shall let them be homeless, or that they shall not wash themselves until they are sin. They shall be still treated like if they was babies, or well, maybe not babies, maybe just teenage or 12 years old. They're supposed to be treated. They can already wash themselves, or maybe they need some assistance. At least sorts of, their partner assistance, or is it possible that husband and wife also washing each other? But in the temple, there is such an ordinance. There is very secret, so we cannot speak about. Where only for those who are attending the temple, right? So let us believe that it is really important for males and for females to feel closeness uh, of maybe of the another gender or of the same gender. And maybe in the same gender, then maybe not as to employ brokerage powers, just to have friendship. So that I'm wondering if sisters of religious society and young women think that if two females are holding each other's hands or hugging each other, kissing each other, if it is already lesbian, or if two males are holding each other's hands, if it is already gay. So that's what it's, we don't know if there is homosexuality or bisexuality. Uh, I think that it shall be sure, we shall be sure that we are loving God with all our heart and mind and strength, and our neighbors as ourselves, and at least not whether as husband and wife super meant to be together. If there was any prohibition or any manipulation by the General Authority of Social Justice Letter States and by other authorities in Office of Social Justice Letter States, needs to be compensated. I mean, if it was, for example, for 1 second, they already have a right for 10 partners freely and not to be indentured in terror of excommunication or in terror of judgment or something. And if it was prohibiting them to marry for longer than 24 hours, then it needs to be unlimited already. They can have unlimited partners number and unlimited number of children outside of bound of matrimony. Why? Because it is absolute trespass against the integrity of family and against law of chastity that general authorities of officers of social specialists and authorities and officers of social specialists are actually prohibiting to marry. If it is verbal prohibition or manipulation or political oppression or war or even injury or mental injury, any of these injuries, if it is physical, spiritual, mental, emotional injury, that need to be understood as if general authorities was just too much, therefore they need to restitute. I myself was asking already to marry in a church since 2000, that's 13 years, and this year it will be 14 years, and I was receiving all negative answers. So I maybe searched my memory whoever was saying that I can marry. It was my patriarch completely. So I need to find out what is that for mass in the general, among general authorities, in the general headquarters of the church. What is it for misconception that they're harboring all over the members of the church specialists can marry, and non-members can marry. It's sorts of shocking for us. So this video is meant to Supreme Elohim and Supreme Yahweh, to translated beings, to saints, that was general authorities and officers of special saints, but also to all those saints that are feeling worthy to ascend to heaven, or would like to ascend to heaven, or would like to help. It's actually the same. They like to help someone who would like to ascend to heaven. So I therefore ask that they are brave, courageous, grateful, and they contact me. They phone call me 0750571 or +4475051 004475051 is my phone number. Line is almost always open. It's free. So if you like to phone call me, well, phone numbers, phone calls, telephone is actually not free, but almost free. You can also visit me. Every kind person, most kind, you can visit me. Formal visits appreciated, and informal visits for those most kind, most charitable person. So we came to the 37th minute, 38th minute, so this is the time when we finally will call for help, allow also in form of singing. So let us sing together. As I have loved you, love one another, this new commandment, love one another. By this I know that you are my disciple, if you have loved one to another. I thank you, anybody who is interested to listen. As I refused to church, it was sometimes maybe I was 12 years of age. The missionaries were saying that my parents doesn't want me in the church, and my parents was already about that time saying something similar, that they are sort of prohibited by American governors and by American governors of churches Catholics to want me to church. And then missionaries stated with name tags officially that I cannot to church. So I actually was then having some trouble to get attendance at all. My mom was sort of not able to concentrate to get to church. But I had many ideas to be as the hero from movies, the Rambo, the returned from Vietnam, and was sort of harassed by police. So then I was trying to organize some sort of ninja group that was doing sort of ninja karate, and this was reaction as missionaries was sort of trying to condemn me. So that's really extremely tremendous influence that I had. But afterwards came sort of mercy by general authorities that I actually maybe was not as good at school anymore, but still quite very good and are good, and I could still sort of comprehend. Maybe I was a Boy Scout for a while, or I was learning about Indians as they building teepees. Um, I think there are ways how general officers of discuss lessons might be brought unto repentance and restitution in early times. They don't use it only as orders to, to turn away to their graves and to die. But maybe they can do before they die something like restitution or something like instruction to the younger generation. The person of the Supreme Apostle Baksay really shall have some more love, so not just believing in some sorts of Rackman or some Wreckers things, but really to get some sorts of investigations, and some sorts of happy family. So that's what I leave with you as the idea. Thank you. Love and bye.